What's good, everybody? This episode of the podcast is sponsored by DistroKid. They are the go-to for digital music distribution and the easiest way for musicians to get their music onto Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, and more. They offer unlimited uploads, and artists keep 100% of their earnings, getting your music onto platforms and into stores 10 to 20 times faster than any other distributor. They help with cover song clearance, automatic splits, and they offer all kinds of tools and templates to help you get the most visibility for your releases. I dig this company and appreciate their business model that offers more features and tools than any other distributor while doing it at the most affordable price for solo artists, bands, DJs, studio artists, and any other creators that are making music or producing music in their home, and they offer label services as well. They've got 3 different tiers that they offer to creators that start as low as $22.99 a year. That's just $1.92 a month. And even their top tier is only $7.50 per month. And the best part about DistroKid sponsoring the podcast is they are offering Dan Cable Presents listeners 30% off their first year of service with DistroKid, making their affordable prices even cheaper for you. I will put that discount link in the episode notes. It will also be in my Instagram bio. Big shout out to DistroKid for sponsoring this podcast for more than 3 years now. Much appreciated. Now let's get into the episode.
Look down at the
What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dan Cable Presents podcast. Thank you for tuning into the program once again. If this is your first time listening, thanks for checking out the show. You can find fresh episodes coming at you on Tuesdays. And if you want to help support this thing in a free way, you can do so by clicking subscribe on iTunes, clicking write a review, giving the podcast 5 stars if you feel like it is deserving of so, and that will help propel this thing into the tops of those iTunes charts, giving it more visibility on the national and international levels, helping strangers find the podcast, and just a great way to contribute to the growth and sustainability of this thing. Appreciate the hell out of all the folks that have already taken the time to do so. If you're not listening on Apple, just hit like, follow, subscribe wherever you are listening from. If you're watching on YouTube, you can hit subscribe there and check out some of the other content. Tell a friend about the podcast. That's always a good way to spread the word. And if you're new to this thing, hope you enjoy this week's episode with Portland legend Dan Halsted is on the show. Dan is the head programmer at the Hollywood Theater here in Portland, a place that, as you will hear in this conversation, I spend a lot of time at, and it's just an incredible place to go see a movie. It's one of my favorite independent theaters in Portland, and just a place that I consider to be a beacon of culture. The theater is turning 100 years old next year, and it was just so rad to get to have Dan on and hear about his passion for film and just how things have developed over time, and how he landed the gig as head programmer at the Hollywood. He's had a tremendous impact on turning that place around and what it is today, and it's just a wonderful place. One of my favorite things about the Hollywood is they play a lot of older movies, specifically on film a lot of the time, and it's just a really cool experience to maybe see something that I was too young to see when it dropped in theaters, or was not alive for, and or just see a movie that I haven't seen in a long time. Just something about that, communal movie theater experience. And I also think when you go to a place like the Hollywood or some of these other independent theaters in town, you're going with a group of people who really appreciate the art and are typically like pretty respectful of everybody's viewing experiences. And I've just really appreciated the amount of time I've gotten to spend at that place. Like, just to be able to disappear into a movie theater and not have to think about the outside world for a bit. It's been a great form of escapism, and has really given me the opportunity to see a movie like Jaws on the big screen on film as it was intended, or just go see something that I've never heard of and just kind of trust the curation and experience something new in a place that has my complete attention span. They do all kinds of great curated series there, including Kung Fu Theater, which we talk about a lot in this conversation. I finally made it out last week. The 5 Element Ninjas. It was such a cool experience, and just a really great entry point into Kung Fu movies. I just haven't really seen many. I've seen these other movies like the Kill Bills that are this tip of the hat to some of those old Kung Fu movies, and I was watching Wayne's World 2 recently. There's kind of a like epic Kung Fu scene in that movie as well, and it's just kind of fun to like get some frame of reference for these other movies along the way that have referenced that genre. But just a real pleasure to jump on the mics with this dude. Just such a big fan of the Hollywood theater, and if you're in the Portland area and you've never been, I highly encourage you to go check out a movie there. And if you're listening to this in September, just some things that are on my radar. September 22nd, there is a Stephen King double feature of Firestarter and Dr. Sleep. That is in honor of Stephen King's 78th birthday. And then the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie, One Battle After Another, with Leonardo DiCaprio, will be starting on September 24th in 70 millimeter. And September 26th, they're playing The Invitation, one of my favorite horror thriller movies of like the last decade or so. I've seen it a couple times. It's a pretty fucked up movie, but I'm excited it's playing there September 26th. That's a part of their Vault of Horror series that goes on, and tons of other Halloween geared programming coming in October. So big thanks to Dan for taking the time. Go support the Hollywood Theater. And now let's get into episode 454 with Dan Halsted. Now let's do the damn thing.
A couple of TV things recently, which are so awkward, doing like those morning shows and shit. And that's always right before you get on, because you're in the control room, and it's just like, fuck. They're all panic. And then right before you get on, they're like, don't cuss.
Don't say anything like that. Yeah, it is, being on those things is kind of weird sometimes.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's always weird.
There's no like clean transition to like, I feel like with this, I can usually just like ease into it. It's like we're already kind of doing the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we don't have to like switch the tone too much.
Exactly. It's totally different when you're sitting there. Okay, commercial break's over in like 20 seconds.
Yeah.
And you're just sitting there with the person in silence. And you're like, what are they going to ask? They never even know like who I am. So I'm like, what is this question going to be? What am I going to turn it into? Like, how am I going to twist it into whatever?
Yeah, it's like one of the reasons I don't like doing some sort of like goofy radio intro with the guest sitting here. It's like, this is a podcast. People know what they're tuning in for. Yeah. I'll do an intro and post.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we can just have the thing happen.
Yeah, totally. That totally makes sense.
But, yeah, I'm super stoked to have you here, and I appreciate you being down to chat with me. I would say the last couple of years I've spent a lot of time at the Hollywood.
Awesome.
And I feel like I've been going to movies like at least once a week, if not twice, if I can. Especially this last year, I became invested. I got the membership.
Wow. Yeah.
Big deal. Had to get the director's one so I could get that free popcorn.
That's right. Yeah. But, that's great. Well, thanks for supporting it.
Yeah, man. I've just been enjoying my time there a lot, and it just feels like a special place, especially in that main room.
Yeah. Totally.
to
It's the best place to watch
see
a movie.
Yeah.
It's the perfect place to watch a movie.
Yeah.
It really is.
It's been a game changer, and I've gotten to see a lot of things there that I had never seen. I was at Jaws the other day. I'd never seen Jaws like front to back, you know. I've always just kind of
never
like
just
seen
watched
it.
the whole movie?
I've just kind of like always seen it on TV and like moments of it, and like there's like the last year or so I've been like thinking, I'm like, oh, I should watch Jaws, and then I saw that you guys were having it there, and I was like, this is my big opportunity to like get to see this how it was meant to be seen on the big screen. I was kind of like watching some of that Jaws 50 documentary a little bit. And
what'd you think?
It was incredible. Yeah. It's like such an amazing movie, you know? I once got to see at the Disney Orchestra Hall in Los Angeles. I got to be at this John Williams tribute night where John Williams was there and Spielberg was there and Scorsese, and they would like, the orchestra would play like the big songs. And I just remember Spielberg talking about how John Williams like gave the shark its teeth and how stupid the fucking shark looked, and like
That's amazing.
Until John Williams like put the score to it. And, but yeah, just like just a special place to see movies, man. Like I was at Kill Bill 1 and 2, like, and hadn't seen the second one before. And
wow.
I've just been loving my time there.
I love it. I'm glad you're doing it.
Yeah, you are obviously, you know, a very passionate person about movies and film, and I definitely like want to talk about the Hollywood itself, but just to provide some context, like what are your early memories about like falling in love with movies, and like what grabbed you about them as a kid?
So I was always obsessed with movies when I was growing up, even though I barely ever got to watch movies. As a kid, I grew up in a super conservative Christian household.
Okay.
My mom hated movies.
All right.
And so I grew up in a super tiny town too. And we didn't have cable. We only got like 3 stations on the TV. Like we didn't even get NBC. We'd have to go up on the roof and move the antenna to try to get NBC. And we didn't have a VCR. So, but I was still obsessed with movies. I would try to read anything I could find about movies. It's weird that I was so obsessed with them, even though I was barely watching them.
Yeah.
And then I would rent a VCR there was a video store in the town, but my parents lived a mile outside of town, so I'd have to go rent the VCR in one of those big black Pelican cases, and I'd walk home and then wait for my parents to go to sleep, and I'd hook up the VCR and I'd watch movies.
So they had no idea that you were doing this.
They would like wake up and they knew it was happening, and they like weren't thrilled about it, but like they allowed it, you know? Yeah. So that was how I first started watching movies. And then
do you have any idea where like that obsession came from? Do you think it was like part of it was that you weren't allowed or supposed to be doing it?
I don't think so. I do have definitely a rebel streak in me. Like if anybody says you can't do it, then I have to do that.
Yeah.
But so maybe it's tied in with that, but I'm not sure. I don't know. I think I was just born with cinema in my veins. Yeah. I don't know. And then it was when I saw Taxi Driver at like 16. I mean, I know it's a movie people always say, but that movie just completely blew my mind, that a movie could capture something that I didn't even know how to articulate it. I probably still don't even know now, like what that movie actually is, but I understood it. And I was like, I didn't even know movies could do this.
Yeah.
And it completely blew my mind. And then that's what really started it. And I, just went down the rabbit hole, right? And so then I was like, oh, these 70s directors and Scorsese. And I figured out, it's not just the actors that I'm really after here, it's the directors. And then Scorsese is a really great director because he's always talking about movies, and he's the living encyclopedia. And so anything you read or see about Scorsese is he's leading you to other things.
Yeah.
So he's just the perfect, gatekeeper, to learn about cinema history. So that's how it started for me. And then it wasn't until right out of high school I moved to Portland.
Okay.
And then I discovered Movie Madness, and that just changed my life. you know. And it's not just all the movies were there, but it was also the way that store was laid out. It just made perfect sense. It was like I didn't have to find out where the movie is. I'd be like, I know that it's in that director section because that's a known director or whatever. And then just searching in that store of like, oh, I'm looking for this director's films, but everything else around it, you know, which I feel like now that's what everybody's missing in the streaming world. You know, that's how people aren't learning more about movies, is you find so much being in that environment where you're just doing the physical hunt.
Yeah. Well, you get like a real personal curation in some way.
Absolutely.
Instead of just like what the algorithm
which
thinks
is
that you
total
want,
bullshit. Right? What it is trying to sell you.
Yeah.
You know, instead of the self-discovery thing. I'm into this. What is this over here? This is something I've never heard of.
Yeah.
You know, and then you go down in another direction. So anyway, that's how it all started for me. And then I started working as a projectionist when I was a teenager. I got a job, and I was like, there's a job where you watch movies and handle film and you don't have to talk to people? I was like, I'm doing this for the rest of my life. Like, this is it. I loved it. And that's how it all began. I was a projectionist for years and years, and then became a film programmer, putting on events and everything. So
yeah. So there was a movie theater in the small town that you grew up?
It was in the next town over.
Okay. And where was that?
So the town I grew up in was called Scio.
Okay.
It's called Scio. It was 695 people or something.
Okay.
It's exploded now. It's like over 700 people or something. But so small. People always tell me, I'm from a small town. I'm like, no, I'm from a small town. So yeah, it didn't even have a movie theater. It did have that video store. And it was surprising. It didn't have any classic movies there. But in the 80s, all video stores had horror movies.
Yeah.
So I watched, VHS horror movies. Like they had, teenagers that's what they watched. And so I saw like a lot of pretty obscure shit from that store, which is pretty amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was watching a lot of that too. A lot of horror movies. 'Cause that's what I had access to, you know.
And were you somebody that would, before you became, the projectionist, like would you go to the movies a lot? Like were you somebody that would like show up on opening night of a new movie coming out? Or?
Again, my parents didn't really, we barely ever went to movies. My mom just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
And so my dad occasionally would take us to something, but it would have to be like Disney, like, I don't know, really tame stuff. Like I could never see the stuff I really wanted to watch. I had to wait for it to get out on VHS. So yeah, I didn't like grow up in a movie theater. Now that I've spent my entire adult life in movie theaters, especially I've like lived at the Hollywood for 20 years. But I didn't grow up that way, which, I still was fascinated by movie theaters. But then once I was working as a projectionist, it was like, this is like the projection booth just felt like home to me.
Yeah. And was like when you started, was everything like on film?
Oh yeah. Everything was on film until around 2013. So it was for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then that's when, a couple of years before that, like the chain theater started switching over to digital.
Yeah.
But I think it was 2013 was the year where like the first emails went out, like we will not be striking any more prints of our movies. You have to have DCP projectors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that was like your entry of being in the movie theater all the time and actually seeing movies.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And handling film, which there's something about it. It just I feel like it's like part of me in a way,
Yeah.
And I became a film collector, and just all of that just seemed to naturally happen. Like it just seemed like I was drawn to it and it was drawn to me.
Yeah. You weren't like necessarily like thinking that there was some path into the industry. It just kind of like
just happened. I assumed when I was younger, I thought I'm going to make movies.
Okay.
That's what I wanted to do.
And did that ever like become a
Never
thing for
did,
you?
but like I didn't care. I also feel like I was a little too late for the movies I wanted to make. Like if I would have been born in the 50s, I was born in 76. So if I would have been born in the 50s, the movies in the 70s, like all the Roger Corman people, like I fit in with those guys. Like I've brought a bunch of those people to town, and we totally get along. Joe Dante and Alan Arkish, and I emailed with Jonathan Demme before he died, and all those guys. Like we really get along because they're just movie nerds, and we're into the same type of movies. And I'm like, if I was that era, I'm sure I would have moved to L.A. and worked for Roger Corman.
Yeah.
But now, like I don't want to be negative. I don't like most new movies. The movies I like aren't made anymore for the most part. So I don't know. And plus digital just ruined everything. I don't know. I don't know. I always try to stay positive about it, but yeah, so it's not, I don't know. I mean, maybe someday I've written screenplays and I've passed them around and something may happen at some point, but it's nothing that I'm like really shooting for at the moment.
Was what you were into always like pretty wide as far as genres?
It broadened. I think at first I was a little pigeonholed until like I had the Movie Madness experience where, I mean, once I was in Movie Madness, I was like, oh, these are all the movies I've read about and I can watch. But I was still watching more like the movies that are all recommended. Classic Hollywood stuff, classic foreign stuff. I watched maybe like 30 Ingmar Bergman movies, which now I'm just not into those movies. I can't believe I watched so many. But at the same time, I was renting everything. And it was when I first discovered Kung Fu movies.
Okay.
As I started renting Kung Fu tapes, and I was like, oh, this is like my jam. Like these movies resonate with me. Which, you know, I'd grown up listening to hip hop, and anybody I know who's a huge hip hop fan is always a huge old school Kung Fu movie fan. Those things always go hand in hand.
Obviously, the Wu-Tang
exactly
connection.
Totally. And I've talked to RZA about that a lot, like why that connection exists. And, you know, he has a lot of interesting theories, of course, because everything he says is like he's dropping philosophy on you. But, you know, those movies are all about overcoming oppression. Like most of the Kung Fu movies are about the Manchu government holding people down, and then the Shaolin monks are like leading a revolution against them. Getting revenge, you know, and it like totally resonates with Black America. And they're all about style. Those movies are all about who has the best style. So it fits in right in with hip hop, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
like
absolutely. Yeah.
So anyway, that was a tangent. But so, yeah, then I discovered Kung Fu movies and fell in love with those. And then, I love all types of movies, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like everybody should always be open-minded about that. Like, to me, it's, again, an Ingmar Bergman movie and a Chang Che Kung Fu movie, like one's not more important than the other. They're just from different cultures and different times.
Yeah. Well, I think that's like one of the special things about getting to go see like an older movie at the Hollywood, you know? It's like, because my attention span is going to be completely locked in. My phone isn't going to be like, if I'm sitting at home watching a movie by myself, like, oh man, I'm trying to not look at that phone, but
we have lots of distractions these days. Yeah. But that's what's so great about a theater, right?
Yeah. It's a whole different experience.
You're giving yourself over to this movie, this work of art for whatever, 90 minutes, 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm planning to go to the next one, but I haven't been to any of the Kung Fu series yet.
You should go to the next one.
I'm planning. It's on my calendar. Okay.
5 Element Ninjas. Yeah.
Incredible.
It's the best one. Yeah.
What do you love about Kung Fu movies?
So I get asked that a lot, and again, sometimes I don't really know how to respond to that. Other than, again, I grew up listening to hip hop. That resonated with me, even though I'm a white guy who grew up in a town of 600 people. Yeah. And I was into old school hip hop and old school Kung Fu movies. It's just, they speak to me. But also I think they're great movies. Like I never understand when people look down on them or treat them differently. It just seems kind of racist to me, really.
Is that's like a thing?
Oh yeah. Kung Fu movies are like the bastard child of cinema. I feel like nobody takes them seriously. The reason I started collecting Kung Fu prints was because of that, because nobody cared about those movies. Like 20 years ago, I started putting on events at the Hollywood before I was the programmer. And that was what I wanted to do, was show Kung Fu movies. And I was trying to track down prints, and I was talking to the film archives, and the film archives all made fun of me. And one of them even said, those are the movies we throw away.
Oh, man.
And I was like, that's horrible. So I was like, all right. I just devoted myself to, if nobody else is doing this, I'm going to do this. Yeah. I'm going to try to save these movies. Yeah. And I've been able to save a few hundred. that print of 5 Element Ninjas came from the big film score that I found. I don't know if you know about that.
Yeah, back in 2009, you like unearthed this crazy collection.
I had bought some trailers, some kung fu trailers, movie trailers on eBay, and they were in really good shape. You never find like great kung fu trailers. And the guy had trailers and posters, and I was like, "Where did you get this stuff?" And then he stopped answering my emails. And I was like, okay, he stole it from somewhere. And I was like, I bet if he has the trailers and posters, wherever he got them from, I bet the prints are there too. But 35 millimeter prints are heavy.
Yeah.
They weigh like 40, 50 pounds each. So I was like, he probably left them. That was my theory. And then one of the trailers he sent me had a movie ticket inside that said Shaw Theater on it. It's a golden ticket. And so I did a bunch of research and found out that there had been a Shaw Theater chain. So Shaw Brothers was a theater in Hong Kong that was the biggest studio in Hong Kong that made hundreds and hundreds of kung fu movies in the 70s and 80s. And I tracked down the woman who had been in charge of the theater chain, and she wasn't involved in the company anymore, but she was a relative of Run Run Shaw who owned the studio. So she put me in touch with Run Run Shaw's office. And Run Run Shaw was a billionaire. He had run the studio. He lived to be like 106. He was about 100 years old when I got in touch with him. And he and his people didn't know if there was anything in this building that they still owned that was in Vancouver, BC, where I got the movie ticket from. But they mailed me a key. And so my wife and I drove up to Vancouver, and the theater had been closed since 1986. And it was on Hastings Street, which if you've been to Vancouver, Hastings Street is where they've pushed all the drug addicts.
Okay.
And so it was just people with needles in their arms everywhere, like worse than I'd ever seen.
Yeah.
But anyway, went inside the building. Again, been closed since '86, and tore a panel off the stage under the screen, and there was over 1,000 reels of film.
Did you just know to do that? Or did that just seem like, is that like typically where things would be stored?
I looked around the building for a little bit, and there was nothing there. We just had flashlights. I don't think there was any electricity on. And I looked in the booth, like I found the projection booth and everything. But then, then it was looked under, like peeked through the stage, and I could see there was film in there, and tore off the panel. And it was over 8,000 pounds of film I took out of there.
Jesus.
So I had to rent a semi-truck, and then, first of all, pull it all out and organize it. It took a couple days. Get the semi-truck to come. I had to get in a fight with the truck driver because he said it was too heavy. He didn't want to take it. And I was like, there's no fucking way you're leaving without this film. And it would take like 15 minutes to get each pallet on the truck. But because of the drug addicts, I had to have a push broom, and I had to sweep the needles out of the way each time. Like it was that bad. I never witnessed anything like that in my life.
Jesus.
But anyway, got the film out of there. And then to get it across the border, it all got flagged as porn because of the kung fu movie Dirty Ho, which Dirty Ho is actually a lighthearted kung fu movie.
That's amazing.
But explain that to the people at customs. So
like all of it was kung fu, or a majority of it?
Majority of it was kung fu. But Shaw Brothers made all types of movies. They made dramas and romances. So there was that stuff in there too.
That's incredible that you just went on this treasure hunt. Basically.
Incredible. Yeah.
Like, is that very much just like you? Like I think
it's related to me growing up in that small town where I didn't have access to anything. I think everybody now just has access to everything, right? Any kid just has the internet.
Yeah.
But in the 80s, you didn't have that. And if you lived in a small town, I liked music that we didn't even have a record store in town.
Yeah.
My brother and I, we loved rap music, and there was a college station in Eugene that Saturday nights would play hip hop. But in order to get the station, we'd have to like build this antenna so we could get the station, and then we'd record it. It'd be all staticky, but then we'd find out who the bands are, and then the next time we were in a town with a record store, we'd go buy the tape of that band. So it was always digging. So I think my whole life, it was anything I was interested in. I was never interested in like the super mainstream stuff. I was always interested in like fringe stuff. but it used to be really hard to have access
Yeah.
to. And so I think that's just the way my brain's wired, is like, people are like, how do you find that stuff? And I'm like, I don't, like, to me, it's, you do the detective work. Like,
You gotta
figure out a
dig.
way,
Yeah.
and then you do it. And I'm somebody, if you shut the door in my face, you know, some people are like, oh, they walk away. Or there's people who want to find the key. I'm the type of person that kicks the fucking door down.
Yeah.
Like, that's just who I am.
And because that building was in like such a crazy location at that time, no one like really questioned what you were doing there. I mean, you had the key.
I had the key.
obviously.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
no one was like, what the fuck is this guy doing here?
No, but the weirdest part was, so that was in the old Shaw Brothers Theater. And so while I'm waiting for the semi-truck to show up, this guy just wanders in. And he's wearing a suit. He doesn't look like the other heroin addicts. And he's like, what are you doing? I'm talking to him. And I'm like, nobody ever knows what you're talking about. And we're talking about film. And he says, oh, I wish somebody would come get rid of my film. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he says, oh, I own a building just a block away from here. It's the old Golden Harvest Theater. Golden Harvest was the second largest studio in Hong Kong after Shaw Brothers. So I went over with him, like weaved through all the drug addicts, and went up by the projection booth. He opens this door. It's this room like this, and it's filled with film.
And he just wants you to take it off his hands.
That's what he said initially. And there were like Bruce Lee prints were sitting there, and Angela Mao prints and all this stuff. But then he changed it. Once I was interested, then he's like, oh, that's how people always are. Oh, now I think it's worth money, which it's not. You're just going to end up paying storage and having to deal. Film's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So eventually I gave up on him. Like, I tried for a decade to get the film from him, and he finally just stopped answering. And I know that building had a fire, and I heard that nothing's in there anymore. So I don't know if they all got thrown away or they burned or what happened, but they're definitely gone.
Yeah.
Which is really unfortunate. So that's what happens, though.
So prior to coming up on the Kung Fu films, like were you mainly collecting film just so you could have like those nights that you wanted to show things, or did you just like also like having them, like the physical token of?
No, my interest in having film is 100% to show it to an audience.
Yeah.
Like, I think 35 millimeter is a completely unique medium in that way. Everything else is made for personal consumption.
Yeah.
Records, tapes, CDs, whatever. Everything else, VHS tapes, everything's made for you to watch it at home. Film is the one thing that's made for a communal experience. That's what it was designed for, and I think that's what it needs to be used for. I know people who have 35 millimeter theaters in their house. You know, I've been to people's houses where their whole house is filled with film, and they just squirrel it away. And I'm like, man, you might as well just throw it away. There's no point in having it. Like, the whole reason it exists is for an audience to watch it.
Yeah.
So if I wasn't showing movies to audiences, like, I wouldn't have a film collection.
And were you digging for things a lot prior to coming up on all the Kung Fu films? Like, aside from like maybe the random trailers you were buying on eBay,
started with trailers. Like, when I was a projectionist forever, and when I moved to Portland, I bounced around to different theaters being a projectionist. And then I started working at the Hollywood in 2003 as the technical director, head projectionist person. And I started renting out the theater right after that and putting on events. So that was when I'd already worked with film forever, but I didn't have a film collection. But then, I started buying trailers, and then I wanted Kung Fu prints. And the first print I got was just some collector took pity on me and was like, hey, I know you want these movies. And he sold me a print of the Jackie Chan film Snake in the Eagle's Shadow, which is one of my favorites. But he just was being a nice guy. He's like, I know what it's like to really be into this stuff, and somebody does this. So he's like, he sold
That's
it to me
sweet.
like super cheap. Yeah.
So would you like show those trailers when you would do?
Oh yeah, I still show trailers all the time. Yeah. I've done trailer shows, or I'll show trailers before screenings. Yeah, all the time.
That's amazing.
I love 70s exploitation trailers and Kung Fu trailers and horror trailers are amazing works of art. When the market was just flooded with those movies, and the only marketing they had was a poster and a trailer. So they had a minute and a half to make you think that this is the most incredible movie you're ever going to see in your entire life. And that's how those 70s trailers for the exploitation stuff, that's how they're built. Those trailers are wild. I love them. And I do like all-night horror marathon every year. And I always run horror trailers like crazy during that. Super fun. So yeah, I show trailers all the time.
That's super fun.
Yeah.
What was the level of interest from the general public when you started renting out the theater and doing these nights, or were you just kind of like appealing to like people you knew?
No, it was, people came, it got good press right away.
Okay.
Like the Willamette Week and Mercury were both instantly really into what I was doing. And that was back when everybody read those papers. Like that's what mattered.
I mean,
in Portland.
I feel like it mattered up until even like 2015. Those things were like things that would like move the needle. And
absolutely. Yeah. And especially in those days, like early 2000s, it was, I mean, they were huge in, you know, having my screenings become successful. But it wasn't like how the Hollywood is now, where it's like every night is sold out. Yeah, and it's lines around the block. It wasn't like that. But it was, when I was doing that, those were the most popular nights at that time at the theater.
That must have been.
Because the theater was just dying.
Yeah.
Nobody went there. It was rotting away. And what happened was I started working there in 2003. I was doing events. I was like, I'm just going to open my own movie theater, is what I thought.
Yeah.
But then 2010, we got a new executive director, Doug White.
Okay.
He knew I wanted to do a lot more programming, so then the former programmer was fired, and then Doug made me the head programmer. But what I wasn't told at the time, the Hollywood's a nonprofit, but the board was actually giving it 6 months, and they were going to close the place down.
Okay.
Because business was so bad.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that for years. I didn't know that was the situation.
Oh, man.
Which is crazy. So, yeah, Portland almost lost the Hollywood and Movie Madness. Both of those things almost went away.
So it must have been pretty exciting to like, while this theater is, you know, rotting away, that the nights that you're doing the programming before you even become the head programmer, that those are like the nights where people are showing up.
Yeah, it was exciting. But it also was like, okay, this is what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I have a knack for this. This is what I should do. And then having that opportunity come up was just incredible. And then the fact that it's become so successful. I mean, I feel like it's been going on for so long now. And like now it's been 15 years that I've been the programmer.
Yeah.
Like people just think, oh yeah, the Hollywood, that's that awesome place, and everybody goes there. And I'm like, oh wow, people don't remember that there was a time when it was so awful and nobody went there and it almost closed.
Yeah, yeah. I went there a couple times when I first moved here. I moved here in 2013.
Okay. So that was after. Yeah, that was like, it was good then.
Yeah, I think like the first couple of things I saw there were like documentaries, because like I didn't really know that like the Hollywood was like a spot, you know, like I was going there because like I wanted to see like the Wrecking Crew documentary.
Sure. Yeah.
And like
that was when we were on like the ups. That was like, because the first couple of years it was still like I completely switched up the programming and we were doing cool stuff, but it took some time. It wasn't like it was overnight. We were hugely successful.
Yeah.
It took a ton of work.
Yeah. What was, you know, when you say it was like rotting away, like what was the state of the place when you like took over?
Nobody went there. I mean, nobody went there. Like we've pulled box office reports where it was for the entire week would make less money than we make one night now.
Crazy.
You know, on 3 auditoriums. It was horrible. The seats were super uncomfortable. It's those old seats where if you're tall like me, your knees just jammed into the metal back of the seat in front of you. It was cold. The roof leaked. The screen downstairs had this huge stain on it. Projection was terrible. The sound was awful. There was no beer. Everything sucked. Sucked.
What were they? What was like programming like? Was it like pretty standard of what was being shown at most movie theaters?
It was like art house stuff.
Okay.
Like smaller films. Like they're fine, but stuff that just people didn't care about. Like those movies work at. We have the living room theaters downtown in Portland. They play those movies and they do well. Like they have that audience, right? It did not work at the Hollywood. But it was that stuff, like lower budget, art house stuff, dramas, stuff like that. No repertory or barely ever any. And yeah, that was it. It was just 3 screens of that stuff. I mean, that was the first thing when I started programming was the idea of we're doing a different event every single night. On one screen, and then the other 2 screens are first run films. So that's normally what we're doing. And then installing 70 millimeter was a big dream project of mine. that then we had to track down all the parts for the projectors piece by piece. That was a huge project, which again became so successful. Have you watched 2001 Space Odyssey?
First time I saw it was at the Hollywood.
It's the only way to
on
watch
70
it.
millimeter.
Yeah.
Like, I was blown away by stupid shit in that movie. I'm just like, I can't believe there's an intermission built into this movie. Like, but those are the things that, like, those are memorable nights to me, you know?
And that's our print too. We have that. I pitched Warner Brothers on the idea of us paying to have a brand new print made that we can hold on to and show it like every 6 months.
Yeah.
And it just looks so incredible. It's the only way to watch that movie.
What is it about? I don't know. Help me and maybe the people that don't understand, like, the importance of, like, the 70 millimeter thing.
It's the best image and the best audio you can get watching a movie. Of course, that's always up for debate, but I think so. I watch people watch movies on film all the time, and people are more engaged when they're watching film. And 70 millimeter has so much depth to it. It's such an incredible image. It looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, it's unparalleled. And 2001, when we struck that print, I remember somebody like the Mercury, or a news station was asking me, like, why that movie? Why do you want to have that movie? And I was thinking about it. And I was like, well, you know, if cinema is the ultimate art form, because it's a combination of so many other art forms, right? Writing, music, acting, photography, editing is its own art form.
Yeah.
So if it's a combination of all those things, if it's the greatest art form, and if 2001 Space Odyssey is the greatest movie ever made, which I think an argument can be made for that, then I think you could say that that might be the greatest work of art that's ever been created.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something to think about.
It was really beautiful to see it, like, in there. And I think that there's, like, also this this sense of community, you know, of seeing a movie that, like Jaws, for instance, this 50-year-old movie, and getting to see it with a sold-out crowd, or like all these other movies that, you know, seem to constantly sell out. Like, there's something incredible about it.
It's
like,
a different experience.
I think it's better than it, you know, I mean, I would be hyped if I was sitting there with 20 people.
Yeah.
But there is, like, something about the energy
absolutely
of a crowd.
Yep.
And,
there's
like,
an electricity that gets going. I hope you got to come watch 5 Element Ninjas.
It's I'm doing it.
Because I think it happens more with Kung Fu movies than any other movies. And I think that's another reason that I was so interested in finding those movies, because Kung Fu movies need to be watched with a crowd.
Yeah.
Like, that's something that if you're just watching with a few people, it just doesn't have the same energy. But with a bunch of people, that electricity that gets going is incredible.
You know, I didn't really, like, think about the way that movies should be, like, viewed or, like, interacted with so much until I was at that night that Kill Bill 1 and 2 played back to back.
Yeah.
And when you introduced Kill Bill 1, you said that the crowd before sucked. And
I was more just, I didn't really think they sucked. I was more just, I watched it with the Friday night crowd, which I don't like Friday night crowds. Friday night crowds, I get it. Everybody works like a 9-to-5 job. I've never worked a normal job in my lilife.
So they're coming in a little tired.
Everybody's tired.
Yeah. And I know you were being, like, hyperbolic a little bit about, like, them being shitty, but, like, but you just encouraged everybody in the room, like, be loud and, like, react to things and, like, that's how that movie is supposed to be appreciated.
It's
and,
a
like,
Kung Fu movie.
I guess, like, I don't know. It just made me think about that different, like, of how, like, certain movies should be appreciated differently, you know, and, like,
totally.
sometimes it should command that silence of the crowd and just being, like, so glued in, and, like, I don't really want to hear the person next to me, like, cheering about something, but, like,
absolutely. And I'm never down with people, like, yelling or talking or whatever, any of that shit. But when it's just responding to the movie.
Yeah.
You know, like that movie, that was Tarantino making a fucking Shaw Brothers movie. That's what it's a Kung Fu movie.
Yeah.
So, that Friday night crowd, I was like, are you guys alive? You guys watching the movie? It was weird. And then Saturday, everybody's going nuts. I was like, okay, wonderful. Good job.
Yeah, that was also, like, another memorable experience of just getting to see those things back to back. And
Yeah. That was a big deal. He owns the rights to the movies now, so you can finally show them again, and you can only show them on film. He only allows them to get booked on 35 millimeter.
Which I'm assuming you love that.
I do. I love it.
Just this is the only
That's
way.
the way it should be seen.
So like, how do you, because you said he owns all of them. Mm-hmm. So like, how do you get a copy like of this to show? Like, do you buy that directly from Tarantino, or you rent it?
Rent it. Yeah, okay. Rent his prints.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's just like a normal studio situation. Like most of the 35 millimeter prints we get are from the studios. Have them. Sometimes they're from film archives if the studios don't have a copy, and then sometimes there's independent rights holders that might have a print, and then sometimes it's from private collectors. I mean, he's a private collector too. We've shown prints from his collection, but yeah, those are just, he owns them, loan them out.
So when it's on loan to you, like, how long do you have with them typically?
Enough time. Film requires prep work. I think people never know that. Like, people are like, oh, I want to do what you do and at my theater. I'm like, fuck, no, you don't. Like, it's so much work. Prepping the print in advance. So, you usually want to get it like a week in advance, prep everything.
Yeah.
It depends. Older film can be a pain in the ass. I mean, you're talking, it runs at 24 frames per second, There's 2,000 feet on every reel. A 90-minute movie is 5 reels long. 2-hour movie is 6 reels long. Jesus. Going through frame by frame to inspect and, sometimes repair stuff. Like, sometimes I'll buy kung fu prints that are shredded.
Yeah.
I'll spend days repairing damage. It can be a nightmare.
And you don't usually know that until you actually have it.
Totally.
Like, there's no...
I mean, normally studio print, you're usually going to be fine.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're going to be fine. But it gets dicey with private collectors and small rights holders.
What does, like, repairing film look like?
Using a splicer.
Okay.
And again, frame by frame, 1 second of film's like that long. So you're going through every single frame, 24 frames a second. And if there's any rips, you want to watch for rip sprockets.
Okay.
Because that's where when it plays through the projector, it'll just tear. So sometimes an older print, I've had prints that are, I'm splice it, move a couple frames, put another tape, cut it, splice. It can take hours and hours. Again, I've spent days repairing just a single film. But
that's just like one of the things you learned how to do as you got deeper and deeper into this.
Yeah. It's basic projection work,
Yeah.
Just, I have my own film archive where I have everything stored and I can just work there. So it's nice.
Yeah. But like you got that 2001 print. Like, what is the shelf life of something like that? Like, how many times can you show that film?
As long as you're not damaging it, you can show it forever. I think there's a weird idea. I even had one of the studios the other day was talking about like, oh, of course, a print's going to get damaged. And I was like, whoa, that is not true. If it's handled properly, like the heads and tails of the film might get a little dirty. I don't know if you know how film projection works. You use two projectors.
Okay.
And so you run a reel on one projector.
Okay.
And at the end of the reel, there's a cue telling you to start the second projector. And then there's another cue that then you switch over. And when it's done properly, the audience has no idea that there's two projectors running the film.
So that projectionist is a very key element for people getting to enjoy what they're seeing.
They're working the whole time back there, right? They're doing the changeover.
You're not just hit and play.
Yeah, exactly. Not like digital.
Yeah.
Hit play, which you don't even need a projectionist. You just schedule it to start.
Yeah.
So anyway, like the heads and tails of each reel can get a little dirty. But outside of that, if it's handled properly, it should never get damaged. Now, older film was on acetate. Now it's on polyester. And the acetate film had all types of other problems. It gets vinegar syndrome, which is a condition that the film just starts deteriorating. And the theory is that every acetate film will eventually get it.
Okay.
Nobody knows if that same thing's going to happen. So it's possible that all film eventually goes away, but we don't know yet because it's not old enough. We have no idea. And there's all different film stocks that were used throughout time. You know, some film stock hold their color. Some of them, like if you come watch 5 Element Ninjas, it's on a Fuji stock, Fuji color. And it over time, the color shifts just a little bit. So it's like slightly purple.
Okay.
So you'll notice that. Yeah.
When you first got here to Portland and you were working at the Hollywood, was there other theaters in town that were showing film prints of things, or
Yeah, when I moved here in the 90s,
everything was
on film, and Cinema 21 was the cool theater in town.
okay?
They were like everybody's house you went to, everybody had the Cinema 21 calendar in their refrigerator. Everybody. And they were showing all the cool repertory stuff, or like the Coen Brother movie or the Jim Jarmusch movie or whatever was coming out during that time. That was the one theater where you went to see that stuff. And that was before the chain theaters got wise to, oh, you can make money showing these independent films, you know, and all the studios started making, like Sony started Sony Classics, and they started making lower budget movies and calling them independent films. And then they opened a place like the Fox Tower downtown that shows all these movies.
Yeah.
But it was before any of that. So Cinema 21 was the theater. I watched so many movies there back then.
I feel like now we're seeing the mainstream theaters even see the value of showing older movies.
They were all showing Jaws this last weekend.
I mean, I went and saw the original Ninja Turtles a couple weeks ago because
they were
only, that seemed like it was kind of the only place that was showing them. Like none of the independent theaters in town were showing it. It was just like a 2-week run.
Yeah, those chain theaters are struggling. They're trying to figure out what to do.
Oh man, yeah. Every time I go in one, it's like usually pretty empty.
Yeah, which fuck them. I don't care. They can die. They never cared about the audience. They never cared about the movies. Fuck them. All the independent theaters are going to survive, which is awesome. Like in Portland, you can watch, maybe Ninja Turtles was a unique example, but normally any movie that comes out, you can see it, and you don't have to go to one of those horrible theaters. You can go to Cinema 21 or Laurelhurst or the Academy or whatever.
I dread it every time now when if I do get thrown into going to like one of the big movie theaters, it's just like, I don't know, it just feels sterile and like, you know.
It's awful.
I'm not going to be able to get like a fucking decent slice of pizza and like a cheap beverage or something, you know? Like
they've just always treated the audience like cattle. Just move you in there.
I got to go watch fucking 30 minutes of previews.
Shovel those fucking ads in your face.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Me too.
Yeah, I can't wait for them all to go away.
It's been a game changer. That's another like big reason. I mean, like, that's why I like going to the Hollywood or like Laurelhurst Theater, and I still go to Cinema 21.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
all those theaters are awesome.
Academy.
And they're all thriving. You know, and after the pandemic, I was concerned, like, are all the Portland theaters going to make it?
Yeah.
They've all thrived. You know, it's just the chains are struggling, which, again, fuck them. Let them close. Who cares? They never cared about you. Don't care about them.
Absolutely. What was revitalizing the Hollywood to where it's at now? Like, what did that look like? What was your vision for once you were kind of handed the keys as head programmer? Like,
yeah, it was a massive undertaking. And it wasn't just me, right? Like Doug, the executive director, put so much work in. It was a team effort. It really was. But my vision was, again, nobody went there, but I wanted this to be like the movie mecca, that if you love movies, this is the place where you go. And we are dedicated to film, and we're dedicated to cinema. And yeah, it's just a mecca. That was what I envisioned. And it really worked out. But it was also, people wanted the movie palace back. You know, the Hollywood is built in 1926. It has that high ceiling and a 50-foot screen. It's such a perfect place to watch a movie. And people wanted it to be used for that again, for like great movies. Like, it's what the community wanted. So people just responded so strongly to it. But again, it was years, you know, to paint the place and, you know, get a new marquee and like all this stuff that we did, new seats.
Yeah.
You know, and again, we were doing stuff like the Lloyd Center had just installed their seats, but then they were getting new ones. Like, they were only in for like a month or something. So we went and got those.
Okay.
You know, so it was, again, get a semi truck and go get those, you know, and install them, you know, put up a new screen. Like we did so much that was like, it was us doing it, you know, and we have an army of volunteers, but it was an incredible amount of work.
Yeah.
But people were so excited about it.
And you started creating like these series and these events.
Yep. Yeah. And again, I wanted to do, again, my idea of a different event every single night. And a lot of it was modeled after, there was the Alamo Draft House in Austin, Texas, which I went there. I was working at the Hollywood. I went to the Alamo in 2005 because I met Tim League, who started the Alamo, and he's a film collector too. We're like into the same types of movies. And I met him in person. And I was like, oh, I heard you're going to have Tarantino down there, like showing movies. He was doing a film festival where he would just bring his prints and show movies from like the 70s that he loved and introduced them. I was like, oh, that's so great. And he's like, oh, come, I'll get you in. So I go, oh, great. So I went, and it was such an amazing experience. And as I was there, I was like, oh, wow, this is my idea of what I want to do with a movie theater. These guys are already doing it, and it's a huge success. So I was like, this is what it's fucking about. I was like, I can't believe this isn't happening in Portland.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I did model a lot after what the Alamo was doing at that time. But yeah, different event every single night, you know, tons of different series. It's a ton of work. You know, I got to clear the rights for everything we're showing. You know, it's a zillion emails every single day. But, you know, people love it.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's amazing that it's become so successful. It's really incredible.
I'm blown away by it. Like to see like, I mean, now that I go there regularly, I know like, oh, if I want to like see this movie, then like I need to get a ticket, you know.
Yeah, buy
sometimes
in advance.
a couple weeks in advance.
I know,
just
everybody
to like
knows.
make sure. And like now it's also like, all right, well, if you want to pick your seat, like you get there at least 45 minutes before. You know.
That's right.
And like, but I just know.
Yeah.
And also, I don't have to sit through 30 minutes of previews.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like I'm there that long, and like you get to sit in that beautiful room, which is like definitely a big part of the experience. Like you were saying, there's no other room like that in Portland to go watch a movie, or just like anything in general. I don't know that I've like really been to a room like that to see movies like across the board, like no matter what city.
Yeah. So yeah, it's wild. I remember when I first started programming, I couldn't even get the studios to respond to emails about booking movies. They were just like, "What is this movie theater? Who cares?" Like, it wasn't even on the radar at all.
And it's called the Hollywood, and they're probably just like taking, not like, "Oh, this is a fucking joke." Like,
what is this? This isn't real. But now they come to me. Like this morning, Warner Brothers. I had to delay this because Warner Brothers is calling me about, you know, the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie in 70 millimeter. We got to get tickets on sale. Yeah. Like now they're coming to me.
Because they know it'll sell out.
Yeah, they know, you know, they see our numbers. They know what we're doing. Like now we have such a great reputation that now, you know, I always try to keep the studios happy and work favors and stuff, but it's not always easy. Like now we're so popular that, you know, sometimes I got to break their hearts. But I remember the days of when they just did not respond to me. It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And just all the series stuff is very cool. Like the Oregon film stuff, like getting to see like Cuckoo's Nest in there and
totally.
Like,
we do such a wide variety. I mean, I think sometimes when I do interviews, I'll realize afterwards, like, oh, I only talked about like 70s exploitation movies and kung fu movies. But then, and people are like, why is that? There's like a theater that only shows kung fu movies. But yeah, we show classic films with a pipe organ. I've
not been to one of those yet.
Oh, you got to go.
That's been on my list of
it's
things
amazing.
to do.
It sounds so amazing in there. There's a pipe. We know which there's thousands of pipes that are installed behind the screen and up in the organ lofts. And then we show, you know, pre-code movies and classic Hollywood stuff from like the 40s and 50s and 60s, stuff from the 80s, 90s. Like we show everything.
Yeah. I've been enjoying the Vault of Horror.
Yeah, that's a great series. Yeah, totally. That was,
playing one of my favorite movies this month, The Invitation.
Oh, nice.
You ever seen that movie?
I haven't seen it.
That movie is fucked up.
Yeah.
I've seen it a couple
That's great.
times. It
Yeah.
is fucked up.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was. I went to the ruins the other night. And
Yeah.
saw that, which was a funny experience for me because I just read the description and I was like, oh, I've seen that movie, and I'm totally mixed it up with this movie called Turistas.
Oh, okay.
Which is another horror movie where these American tourists go to Mexico, and I was just like,
how far into it were you before you were like, I've never seen this
probably
before?
about like, I don't know, 30 minutes. I was like, this isn't the same movie. This is going in a much different direction. And that was kind of fun.
That's great. That's hilarious. Nice. Yeah.
But then it also just seems like you're kind of the spot to have maybe these special events as far as like Q&A type stuff with
Oh yeah, absolutely.
directors or
Yeah, totally. I mean, and that's another thing of like, that was something I always wanted to do. But again, when nobody knew who we were,
yeah,
it was impossible. Installing 70 millimeter really gave us a reputation nationally. Like that was when studios started to take notice. Like we installed it 2015, showed 2001, a couple other movies, showed The Wild Bunch in 70. But then end of that year was when Hateful Eight came out.
Okay.
And that movie, the first week, was only released in 70 millimeter. So we were the only theater in Portland that had it, the new Tarantino movie, and that was lines around the block every single show. There was a lot, it was sold out. Like our numbers were we grossed like $150,000 in a week on that movie. It was insane. And then Tarantino came. So that was the big, like, that got national attention, and everybody was like, what is this movie theater?
Yeah.
Like, once he showed up, that was a big deal. Which I was the only person that knew he was coming. But I'd worked it out with his assistant months in advance. Since he's a kung fu lover, we've traded prints for years
You're
with
able
each
to
other.
geek out.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, so we already, we had known each other through his assistant, but we hadn't hung out in person. But then I'd seen him at that film festival in Austin, but we hadn't hung out. But then when he came that night, that was our first time actually hanging out. But I told the crowd, I was like, he was like, don't tell him that I'm going to be there. Keep it a secret. So I just told the crowd, stick around afterwards. There's a surprise. And I was like, wow, they think they're getting a fucking T-shirt or something. And then the plan was to hide him, but he got there and he got excited and he just walked in the building. And it was during intermission. And I saw him and I was like, oh no. And I heard somebody say, that's Quentin Tarantino. And he just got mobbed.
Oh, man.
So I was like, well, cat's out of the bag. But then he sat and watched the second half of the movie and then did a Q&A.
Yeah.
But then, again, that was just, like, there's people who still talk about that. People are like, oh, I was at that show, or I was at the one right before it, or whatever. Like, people still talk about that. There was actually a guy at that show. There was a couple that couldn't find seats together. And the woman came up to me and she's like, can we get a refund? Because it's my boyfriend's birthday, and he's the biggest Tarantino fan, but we can't find seats together, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, don't leave. Just stay. Do not leave.
Yeah.
They left.
Oh, no.
All the news crews showed up.
And you're just trying to be like, he's here,
I was like,
but I can't tell you that.
Yeah, like 2 hours later, I'm like, they saw that shit on TV. For
That's
sure.
unreal.
The entire city knew that happened. I was like, I told
And
you.
you fucking told
Don't
him,
leave.
man.
Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing.
Sorry.
Do you love getting to host a Q&A and those
It's
types
stressful.
of conversations, or like do you feel like pretty comfy in it now, or is it?
I do. In advance, it's stressful. And doing those big events, there's so much around it, and handling people. And Portland is not good with being around famous people, so you got to have security and watch out for crazy people. So that part of it I don't enjoy. So it's always such a fucking whirlwind,
Yeah.
And, Tarantino's come again. He came in 2022. He came for a couple days, so I did long Q&A with them. He's great. The RZA's come a couple times.
Yeah.
Which I have a side job. I work for RZA too.
Okay.
And I mean, we're friends,
Yeah.
because he loves kung fu movies too. We just get along. He's such a great guy. So those Q&As are easier, but then there's other people you never know, like you don't know them that well. And once
Yeah.
you're on stage with them, then are you dealing with the persona? Are you dealing with the real person? Like, you never
Right,
really
right.
know what direction it's going to go. Everything's always been cool. I've never had any problems, but it can be stressful.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of things behind the scenes with those events where things can go haywire really fast.
Yeah. And you're trying to facilitate a conversation that's like interesting to an audience. You're
Totally.
not just like sitting there like we are
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, you want it to be engaging the
Yeah.
entire time. Like, I really strive for that. I was really proud the last time Tarantino came, his agent was in the crowd. And afterwards, we went out for dinner. And he told me 3 times, he's like, that was the best interview I've ever seen with Quentin. And I was like, I don't know. I don't think that's true, but I will take that
Yeah,
compliment.
the blessing, the ultimate blessing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was bummed to miss the RZA thing. But I was at Wu-Tang the night before. So
Oh, nice.
I
I
did
was
get to see
too.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hooked me up with tickets. I've never been to like a Moda Center show before.
And that was it? Damn.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
And I went, and then I was like, from me to the wall from the stage. Like, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
he gave me, like, I was looking at him. I was like, well, you gave me seats like right here.
That's incredible. Seeing
yeah.
seeing Young Dirty Bastard blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because he just looks he's looks and sounds
It's
like
uncanny.
ODB
I know,
so
it's
much.
weird.
I think it was like almost the most special thing of that night, like in some
Yeah.
way to me. Like every time he would rap, I was just like, this is incredible.
I know. Yeah,
Like, what
I
a
agree.
cool way to honor this dude's legacy.
Yeah,
it's
I
the
know.
only
That was
way
a
it can be
really
done.
great idea. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, I agree. That's cool.
Yeah, I got to be at the when Connor O'Malley was in town doing Rap World.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude,
that was
probably
a good movie.
one of my favorite movie going experiences.
I laughed so fucking hard at the end of that movie. The whole
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was dying. That was maybe the hardest I've ever laughed in a movie theater. I could not. I was crying.
Also, just like I don't know, one of the things they revealed during the panel after was that like he hadn't cleared any of the music, and they
Oh,
used
wow.
like some huge songs.
I didn't remember that. What happened to that movie? Is it
It's
out
on
there?
YouTube.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it hasn't been flagged. You know, there's
Amazing.
I don't know if
Yeah.
if they ever had to clear the
The
music rights, but
yeah.
like
Maybe
yeah.
they slid under the radar. Yeah.
I was there for the second showing, and Kyle Kinane hosted the Q&A, and he bombed. But he told Connor O'Malley. It was like I don't know. I feel like the only person that could bomb in that way, in like such a like charming way, would be like a stand-up like Kyle Kinane.
Yeah.
And I just remember him like telling Connor like, "Why did you ask me to do this? I told you that like this wasn't gonna be good."
That's hilarious. I don't really remember the Q&A. Maybe I didn't watch the Q&A.
It was very
I don't remember.
very fun experience. So
Yeah.
just yeah. What does curation look like these days, and like how has it evolved for you?
Wow. I mean, that's a tough question to answer. I mean, it's something that I'm always trying to push myself, and I never want it to be stagnant, and that's something I'm always paranoid about. I feel like we've been on this high level for so long, and I feel like we're still heading up, that I'm like, I never even want us to plateau.
Yeah.
And then I'm always worried about the other side. Like, hopefully that won't happen, but I don't know. So, I don't know. I feel like I'm constantly pushing myself. I never want to be lazy about it. So I'm just constantly trying to figure out ways to keep... You know, when I first started putting on events, my idea was blow off the roof. Like, that was always how I feel. Blow the fucking roof off. And I feel like that is what the Hollywood's known for. Like, it's different than going to another movie theater in town.
Yeah.
Right? If we're showing something, it's like, oh shit, it's playing at the Hollywood. Like, we got to go because of that experience. So I never want to let go of that, right? That I'm still trying to push that idea, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know if that
Yeah.
answers it. I mean, you know, and I've done so much that I wanted to do that there's times where I've been like, is it time to move on? Like, but then a new project will happen or some new idea will come in my head, and then it's like, okay, I'm still invested in this. I'm
Yeah.
still finding it interesting. And again, we've had so many big projects along the way. Like the thought of fucking Tarantino coming to the Hollywood back in the days. I told him the first movie I ever saw at the Hollywood was Pulp Fiction in the 90s, when it was, and there was a leak from the roof and nobody was there, and it was awful. It was before I worked there. And then to be there on stage with him,
Yeah.
and it's a packed house, and that was surreal. I had that moment of realizing, oh, wow, yeah, I saw Pulp Fiction here, and nobody was here, and this place was terrible.
Are you still doing a lot of hunting for film? Like, have
Always.
you had
Always.
many other moments similar to the Shaw Theater?
So not
unearthing?
not on that level.
Yeah.
I'm always hoping it'll happen again. It'll probably never happen again, but you never know. I'm always having weird film experiences in my life. Like, I feel like I'm so used to it that sometimes I don't even tell the story afterwards, and then somehow it'll come up and people will be like, "What the fuck?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I like went to that guy's house, and a couple of years ago I bought some prints from this guy. His house was so filled with film you couldn't move in there. There was just film everywhere. That's how he lived. And when I got there, he's like, "Oh, you can't use the bathroom because there's film in there." And I was like, "Does that mean you don't use the bathroom? Like, what the fuck?" There's film in his kitchen.
Yeah.
And he had a theater built onto the back of his house where he had 70 millimeter projection installed. He had a theater of about 50 seats, maybe more, 75 seats. But the auditorium was filled with film. You couldn't even sit down and watch a movie because every seat had film, boxes of film, reels of film in there. So I bought some film from him. So I'm always having weird situations like that where I'm like loading up my car with film at some weird collector's house. I just had the city dump emailed me a couple weeks ago, and they're like, "Hey, there was a family here throwing away a bunch of film because the father had died and he was a collector." And they're like, they stopped him, and they knew that I'm a film collector, so they emailed me, and so I went and picked up some prints from them. And one of them was labeled "Catch Me If You Can," so I was like, oh, it's probably that Spielberg movie. But then I looked at it, and it's a different movie. It's a movie from 1959. It's
Crazy.
a film noir that
Okay.
was assumed to be lost. So I haven't watched it yet. I emailed Eddie Moeller from the Film Noir Foundation, and he was like, I've heard of it and never seen it. You got to let me know if it's good.
Yeah.
And the print's in great shape. So, I don't know, weird stuff like that happens to me. I feel like I'm always ending up with like film in my car.
So if someone's like comes up on film, like even the city dump knows
Yeah,
that
they know to reach
Dan
out to me.
Halsted is
which
the
is great.
guy
Yeah.
to reach out to, let him know.
That's
you
right.
know?
If you got some film rotting away in your house,
Is
let me
there
know.
is there still kind of like the eBay hunting that
Oh yeah,
happens?
totally.
Is that
eBay
still
drives
like,
me crazy, but yeah, I don't spend enough time on it like
Yeah.
I used to. I'm sure I miss some great stuff. You gotta like just be dedicated to it,
Yeah.
you know. But if you are, like, I've found amazing stuff, and you gotta get creative. You gotta be like, oh, there's people who don't know what film is, so they are gonna list it incorrectly. Like, I found stuff by like misspelling shit, you know, and then you find stuff that's been sitting there, like incredible things, but nobody has seen it because they mislabeled it when they posted it.
and then those people usually hopefully don't know the value of what they have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Also?
when I first started buying those Shaw Brothers trailers, they were cheap, and then some people figured it out, and those prices started to skyrocket
Yeah.
on that stuff.
Do you have like people that help you find things at this point, or
There's
is
people
it,
that'll email me, like sometimes, like heads
Okay.
up, and there's other collectors. Like, there's a whole network of film collectors. So I know people in LA and on the East Coast and
Yeah.
stuff, and we're always texting each other and stuff. But they're not interested in kung fu movies, so they'll give me a heads up about a kung fu print.
Oh, okay.
We're all interested in horror movies.
Yeah.
So horror movies are, highly sought after.
is there a white whale for you that you're still?
There's a few.
Yeah.
there's a few.
What are like what are the big ones?
Sister Street Fighter is the number one.
Sister Street Fighter.
Sister Street Fighter.
What is this movie?
So if you watch the movie True Romance,
Okay.
the opening of True Romance, Tarantino's first screenplay is Kristen Slater goes to the theater to watch a kung fu triple feature, and he goes actually to the Vista Theater, which now Tarantino owns, and it's a triple feature of
crazy.
Street Fighter, Return of the Street Fighter, and Sister Street Fighter.
Okay.
They're all from the 70s, starring Sonny Chiba.
All right.
But Street Fighter is incredible. I would love, actually, Street Fighter's another, it's like number 2 probably, but Sister Street Fighter is my favorite.
All right.
And no prints are known to exist, but I don't know, someday, I believe it's out there. So I don't know. Somewhere. And some of my prints, like I have a print of the movie 8 Diagram Pole Fighter that I got from that big collection that I felt like I wanted it so bad. It was almost like I conjured it up. I really felt that way. I was like, I'm I fucking want that. I'm going to have it. And and people were like, you're never going to find it. It doesn't exist. And then having that incredible film score, I was like, people can do anything. You can do fucking anything. Because I do feel like I made it happen with my mind, which is bizarre. But
well, I don't know. That's just thinking about having this conversation with you and writing down some notes. Like, is it kind of crazy to you that like the way things have unfolded for you, and like that you've gotten to meet some heroes, and like you're friends with the RZA and having conversations with him about kung fu movies, all because like you like chased down your passion, like you went after things and you pursued it.
It's strange that it doesn't feel strange.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll have a day where, you know, I'm talking to RZA and then whatever, working on some film stuff, find some film, like, you know, working in my film archive. And then I'm like, wow, yeah, this is my life. But I'm so used to it. I don't know, that it doesn't seem strange. If I step back from it, then I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. You know, if people are like, what'd you do today? And I feel like I don't normally talk about that stuff because it almost sounds like I'm bragging. If I'm like, oh, well, I was talking to RZA this morning, but that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
Like that was my day.
You're not trying to like name drop.
No,
Yeah,
it's like
just...
that was my day. Like I had a Zoom meeting and then, you know, with RZA and whatever.
Just kind of, it's like, it's pretty inspiring to me, to like the magic of kind of following a passion, though.
Yeah.
And
that's what everybody should do. That's what I tell everybody. Don't get sucked into the fucking bullshit. Don't go to college and get some terrible fucking job. Don't do that. Follow your passions. You can make anything happen.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
I do too.
Like when people are like, oh yeah, you know, you meet somebody and you're like, wow, you really have like a talent. You should be a writer. Like you should be writing screenplays or making movies or whatever. And you know, it's always just like, oh yeah, how you're going to have to help me. And I'm like, why? You can do it. You can do it. You can make it happen.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those people, RZA, he told me he was going to open a video store. That was his original idea. He had bought all the tapes and he wanted to open a video store, and he had some money put together. And at the last minute, he was like, I think I'm going to do that Wu-Tang idea instead.
That Wu-Tang idea.
Exactly. Which that's what, and think about it. There was a time where he was talking about that, and I'm sure people around him were like, nope. Like, that's not the way a rap group works, dude. You have like 2 MCs and a DJ. That's what a rap group is. No, they didn't see the vision. You know, people do that. People are so negative too. That's the other thing, is stay away from people's negativity. Yeah. Everybody's trying to drag people down. Yeah. It's like most people are like that. I don't like people. I stay away from people because of that. People are so fucking negative.
I always loved hearing Kevin Smith talk about like his path into things, and just like this idea of just like chase whimsies, you know, and like surround yourself with like yes people, actually.
Absolutely.
And like no people are important for certain things, but like surround yourself with some why the fuck not people, you know?
That is great advice. Yeah. Surround yourself with creative people and positive people. Those are the people I like to be around.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, because all those things were just ideas, you know?
Exactly. Like there was a certain point where everybody thought it was a terrible idea. Yeah. It was just an idea that somebody had, and everybody around them thought it was stupid, and they followed it anyway.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, everybody's like, wow, it's a Wu-Tang Clan. It's brilliant.
What is the movie you've seen the most?
Maybe Shogun Assassin, probably. Okay. It's my favorite movie. I show it every year. I have a 35 millimeter print of it. Have you seen it?
I have not.
You'll have to come watch it. I show it around my birthday every year, so I show it like January or February.
This is a kung fu movie
as
well?
It's a samurai film, actually. I have shown it under my kung fu theater, kind of cheating.
I feel like this is an entire, like, this is a big blind spot for me, Dan. Like, the whole kung fu world.
It's most people,
But you're about to blow my mind. I feel like next week I'm going to come see 5 Element Ninjas, and I'm going to, like, hopefully go down the rabbit hole. I'm kind of just, like, pretty pro, like, going to see anything at the Hollywood at this point, just because, like, being open to something and knowing that, like, if I see it in the theater, my attention span's going to be there for it. And like,
I do think I've been able to build up a reputation too of, I have an agreement with the audience that I might show something you've never heard of before, but I'm promising you that this is a good movie. Now, that's not everything that plays. There might be some new movies, or new movies maybe is different, but
Yeah.
there's stuff that I show that is like an obscure film, but I feel like there's unspoken agreement where the audience is like, all right, we're trusting his judgment. This is going to be
Yeah.
worth our $12 or whatever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Shogun Assassin. It's my favorite movie. Ultra-violent samurai film. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I've seen it so many times. I watched it. I wore out my VHS tape, and then now I have it on 35 millimeter.
Yeah.
That's the only way I've watched it for the past like 15 years.
I also just love this opportunity to like see movies in the theater that maybe I was either not born for or too young to appreciate.
Yeah.
Or just for some reason have never seen, like the Jaws thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw Terminator 2 for the first time at the Hollywood Theater when you showed
On
it this
35
year.
millimeter. We have a print of that in
Yeah.
our film archive.
When
Yeah.
you showed it earlier this year,
Yeah.
I believe. Maybe it was last year, but
I think it was
just
last year,
like,
but yeah.
and to like see a movie like that hold up,
Yeah.
you know, and just be like incredible still.
Yeah.
But one of the other things I love about the Hollywood and like those types of screenings is the introductions often done by you.
Sure. Yeah.
I think is like a big draw to the thing. Like I love that as a part of the experience of
yeah.
like
That's great.
getting
I
to hear like
appreciate
you're
that.
passionate about the movie, maybe getting to hear like how you acquired that print,
Yeah.
and also just like dropping some nuggets in there, you know, about like how the movie was made. I think is like such a cool part of the experience, like whether it's you or someone else like doing it. Like I remember seeing like Wayne's World last year as like part of the fashion series.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Fashion in movies, and
Yep.
like just getting to hear things that like I would have never thought about, you know, about that movie before it showed, of just like the costume design and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think
I think the intros are really important. Again, that whole blow the roof off idea, it's an event.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you go to the Hollywood, it's an event. So I think the introductions are really special. I think most importantly, I always think, like, I hear a lot people like my intros, and that's great. It's awesome. To me, I really think the most important thing is I'm more like setting the mood of like, hey, we're all here to take this movie seriously. We're going to we're going to give ourselves over to this film. We're not going to be on our phones. We're not going to be talking like you're not at the Megaplex.
Yeah.
now. Like, to me, that's really, it's more like, you know, whether what I say, like, I mean, I hope people are listening, but it's more about just like, hey, this is different being here. Like for somebody who's walking in the first time, like, oh, well, this guy's like talking up there. Okay, well, I guess, he's telling me not to use my phone.
we're not doing previews. There is an introduction. I think that you have like, you know, you've really dialed in the art of doing that, because I do think that there is like, that can go either way.
Oh, definitely.
You know,
I've seen plenty of bad film introductions.
Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Totally.
You know, I feel like, you know, I've seen some other folks do it at some other places, and I'm just like, I think that, you know, they have seen Dan do this, and they aspire to have this presence.
That. Yeah.
And I hope that they get there one day.
That's great, though. I mean, I've heard that, and I've actually heard that from some of the people doing it.
Yeah.
But it's weird to me. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm old enough now that there's like a younger generation doing this.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I was inspired by you.
Absolutely.
Like, that's pretty weird.
There's maybe kids that grew up in Portland that
Exactly.
came to see those, and now they work at other places around town. Or,
Yeah. And now they're programming a film series.
Yeah.
It's great, which is cool. And I think people always think, too, that like maybe there's competition between the theaters, but not at all. Like, we all help each other out.
Well, you want
we all
everybody
get
to thrive,
along.
right?
Yeah, we
Like,
want everybody to thrive. We want all the other theaters. It's one of the coolest things about living in Portland is all the independent theaters.
I mean, I feel like it's really similar to like, for like my perception of like what the record store community is here.
Totally.
Like, where everybody wants each other to do well, because like the city is supporting it. Like,
you want that community there. That
Yeah.
everybody, and then the fact that you have all those record store brings more people, makes the community bigger. It makes the whole thing thrive.
Yeah, and it gives like each spot kind of like an opportunity to maybe, you know, be good at certain genres or something,
Absolutely.
or like be
Set
known for
themselves
certain
apart.
things.
Yeah.
And like maybe, you know, Music Millennium has it all, but like Green Noise has all the punk and hardcore or something, you know, like
Totally.
that type shit.
Yep. Yeah. It's one of the coolest things about Portland. is we have all this shit that other cities have lost. Like, as much as this city kind of sucks right now, but we still got independent movie theaters. We have bookstores. We have record stores. We have awesome vintage stores. That's the reason to live in a city. I grew up in a small town. The reason you live in a city is to have all that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And most cities have lost that stuff.
Yeah.
New York City doesn't even have that shit anymore. It's horrible. Or barely. We still have a video store. We still have Movie Madness. I gotta plug Movie Madness. That was the other thing. We saved Movie Madness.
Crazy.
90,000 movies. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
You ever going to the? You ever just have some friends over to the theater and watch a movie in there, like a little private screening anymore?
Used to do that all the time.
You're just there
Not
too
anymore.
much now.
Yeah,
you're just
not
like,
anymore.
No, I do not want to be here when I don't need to be.
I mean, because I'm there, sometimes I'm running film during the day and I'm working all day long and then introducing a movie, maybe watch something at night. So, yeah, it's been a long time, actually, since I've, watched a movie after hours. Used to do that all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a fucking projectionist for years, too. Like, that's what you do when you're a projectionist. You buy beer and watch movies after hours. That's the reason you work in a movie theater.
Yeah. Is there anything you feel like is mentioning that we didn't, really cover? Is there anything, fun coming up that you're most excited about? This will probably come out in, 2 weeks.
We're opening Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another in 70 millimeter. That's exciting. I'm not normally excited about new movies. I'm excited about that one.
Yeah. Probably be sold out by the time you hear this.
Probably. We'll be playing it for a month in 70 millimeter. So, what else? October, we always show tons of horror movies. We have our all-night horror marathon. That sells out fast. You have to be a member.
Very hyped for that. This will be my first year.
Oh, nice. I'm actually handing it off this year.
Okay.
Because I can't do it anymore because I'm getting too old. Because it's too much work and every year for 10 years I've said I am never doing that again.
And you're finally doing
it. Last year was my greatest hits of all the years that I'd done it. I did it 12 years or something.
I'm a big horror movie fan. What is maybe something out of the mainstream that you're this is a must see,
that we're about to be showing,
or not, just for your personal.
I'll tell you. Well, from the all-night horror marathon last year, where it was my greatest hits, because I never announced the titles in advance. It's always a secret, which is really fun. The movie Slugs.
Okay.
Have you seen Slugs?
No.
So again, I think I talked about it at Jaws, but after Jaws was so successful, then every animal on the planet got their own movie.
Yeah.
Slugs, I mean, it got to that point where it was sharks, then it was killer whales, then it was bears, then it was, whatever. But alligators, and then it eventually got down to slugs. So the killer slugs, that movie rips.
Hell yeah.
It's so fun. It's so funny. It's super entertaining. That one, that's a roof ripper. That movie's fun with the crowd.
Oh, yeah.
Also, The Gate, the 80s film The Gate, is a really great movie. So, yeah, I'll give you those.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got some homework, some things to digest.
Yep,
October's
totally.
around the corner. It's
That's
time.
right.
It's time.
Yeah, everybody, go to Movie Madness and rent Slugs.
Dude, thanks so much for giving me your time and being
Sure.
open to doing this. I was just I don't know. I think it was when I went to see Kill Bill and you were doing the intro. I was just fuck, man, I should ask Dan if he ever wants to jump on the mics. I love the Hollywood so much.
Down.
And
I appreciate the support. Yeah, it's great. I'm always, everywhere I go, it's kind of insane. I go to the grocery store and it's every single day, people are like, oh, fuck, I love the Hollywood. I love Kung Fu Theater, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, hey, that's great, but it's because of you guys.
Yeah.
It would not happen if it wasn't that the audience is so excited and people are so supportive.
Well, it also seems like everybody, all of the staff, seems like they're pretty stoked to be working at the Hollywood
That's
Theater.
true.
Everybody's so nice and easy. And
we do have a really awesome staff. And people have worked there for so long, which I think says a lot, right?
Yeah.
They're dedicated to it. They're a part of it. We have a great, amazing staff, incredible projection staff. We have the best projection staff in the country right now, I think. Great volunteers, and it's because of all of them. I don't give the volunteers enough of a shout out from the stage probably.
Yeah.
But and the audience.
It's a special place. It's definitely one of my favorite places in Portland. And people are, I don't know, as of late, people are you've been going to the movies a lot. I'm I've been going to the Hollywood theater a lot. Like, you know, like
That's the commercial right there. That's great. I love it.
it's kind of it's just like I said, nothing like that main auditorium, like
it's true.
magic room. So
Yeah, I agree.
I'll put all the links in the episode notes so people can keep up with the Hollywood theater and movie madness. Dan, we end every episode of the podcast with the guest saying the tagline for the show, which is "It's a program," and it means absolutely nothing. It's just the way that my grandfather says the word program. He always says program. And it's just like a goofy, nonsensical way to like end each episode of the podcast. So,
well,
if it's the one time I'll ask you to look into this camera here as well, if you want to give us.
I actually don't. Oh, the camera's
just
right there. I actually
right
couldn't
there.
even see it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Hidden movie magic right there.
Well, it's a program.
He nailed it, everybody. That's Dan Halsted. We're going to put the links in the episode notes. And that's the Jelly Jams. And we will catch you on the flip side, Portland, or wherever you are listening from. Go see a movie at the Hollywood.
Thanks. That was great.